So try ko po talaga i-simplify yung presentation po natin. So ito po yung main objectives ng presentation po natin for today is to give you an overview of COVID-19 in the UAE, yung facts and myths of the vaccine, about the vaccine, how do vaccines work, common side effects, COVID-19 vaccines available in the UAE at present, who should receive it, who should postpone it or avoid it, preventive measures, call centers, and then we'll go to the Q&A or question and answers. Again po, if you have any questions, let me know, or like what Sir Art said, type it in the chat box, i-answer po natin later after po ng session. So for the overview of COVID-19 in the UAE, sa amin po, for example, I chose this photo kasi it says a lot about COVID-19. Ngayon, ang dami po sa atin na hindi po nare-realize yung burden na nakukos ng COVID-19 sa healthcare system. Not just you, sa buong mundo ho. For example po, this patient could be you, or could be your relative, or could be your father, or could be your mother. Ang hirap po kasi hindi po natin sila malapitan, lalo na ho sa mga huling oras nila. Napakahirap po talaga ng COVID-19 kalaban. So for example po, photo, let's say it's a relative who's in distress or frustrated. Yan po yung mga relatives ng mga COVID-19 patients na talagang hindi na po nila talaga alam kung ano hong gagawin para ho dun sa kamag-anak nila na nagkasakit. Ito naman po yung mga healthcare professionals, mga kasamahan po natin sa hospital. Ako po honestly, let's say we are frontline healthcare workers, pero mas bilib po ako dun sa mga kasamahan ko po na talagang directly in charge po dun sa mga COVID-19 patients. Saludo po ako sa kanila. Laki po ng respect namin sa primary healthcare kasi tinatransfer lang po namin sa kanila yung mga patients na to. So let's pray for them also. When it comes to the overview, I'll just share one slide from the ministry. Gaya po ng pinresent ni Sir Art, at present there are 4.9 million vaccines administered sa UAE. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it po?
Wala siya. Wala pa.
Sandali lang po i-share ko po siya. Ito po. Yan po. Nakikita niyo po siya?
Yes.
Okay. So, at present, ito po yung real-time numbers ng UAE vaccination sa UAE. For example, sabi po ni Sir Art, 4.9 million na yung nabibigyan ng bakuna. Pero with these numbers, hindi po namin alam kasi hindi po available yung data for us to know kung ilan po dyan yung first dose, ilan yung second dose. So ideally po, at present po ang target is to vaccinate more than 60-70% of the population. So let's say 4.9. Mga sabihin na po natin 5 million. So siguro it's safe to say na 2.5 million na po ang nababakunahan. At present almost 10 million ang population ng UAE. So we still have a couple of months to go. Not a long way to go, but we still have a couple of months to go to vaccinate and meet that target. Ang diagnosed cases po is 345,000. Ang deaths po is 1,000. So if you try to look at the numbers, pag tinignan po yung numbers niya, compared to other countries, less than 1% lang po ang death rate na tinatawag namin. Sa madaling salita ho, let's say sa 10 po na pasyente na nagka-COVID, less than 1% lang po doon ang natutuloy doon na pupunta or namamatay or nagiging sobrang lala, which is very good po. Kasi maganda naman po ang healthcare system ng UAE compared to other countries. So at present, we have like 17,000 plus active cases, which are being taken care of by the government. Now, let's go to the myths and facts of COVID-19. Alam po namin, gaya po ng sabi namin kanina with Sir Art, isa ho sa number one na kalaban namin this pandemic is yung infodemic. Ang dami pong parang let's say sabi ni kapitbahay, sabi sa Facebook, sabi sa Google or whatever, unreliable sources na nagpapakomplicate po ng laban natin against COVID-19. So meron pong parang website that will deal, ipapresent ko po ma'am ngayon po, with the most common facts and myths about COVID-19 vaccine. So we do recommend po na if you will, like for example, if you're the type of person po na talagang may mga pasyente po kami na OC na talagang gusto nilang malaman. If you're the type of person po na OC or talagang gusto mong malaman, which is your right naman po as a patient, go po sa mga reliable sources gaya ng WHO, CDC, UAE Ministry of Health, Abu Dhabi Health Authority, Dubai Health Authority, para ho yung information na ikakalat nyo sa mga kaibigan nyo, reliable po siya, tsaka tama pong information. So ito po are a couple of myths and facts about COVID-19 vaccine. I don't know if, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so isa po sa most common question na natatanggap po namin is, can a COVID-19 vaccine make me sick with COVID-19? That's a big no-no po. You have to remember po, develop po ng vaccine, hindi po yan live vaccine na ginagamit po nila. Regardless of the type of vaccine, for example, Pfizer, which uses mRNA technique. Sinopharm, which uses inactivated vaccines. So regardless po of the type of vaccine, hindi po kayo magkakasakit because of the COVID vaccine. So yan po yung isa sa common na naririnig po namin. So hindi po kayo magkakaroon ng sakit dahil sa COVID vaccine. Next myth po, after getting a COVID vaccine, will I test positive for COVID-19 on a viral test? Ito po kahit po yung mga kasamahan po namin sa ministry, nalilito sila eh. Akala kasi nila marami yung information about yung mRNA na it will alter yung genetic makeup ng pasyente, which is not true naman ho. Again, wala hong i-administer na live vaccine sa inyo. So pag tinest po kayo, let's say umuwi po kayo sa Pilipinas, nagpabakuna kayo dito. Umuwi ho kayo ng Pilipinas, hindi ho kayo magte-test positive dun sa PCR test na ginawa for COVID-19 vaccine. Unless ang tinetest po is antibody. Kasi remember po, ang bakuna ho or any vaccine for that matter ho, ang ginagawa ho niya, magde-develop ng antibody for that specific infection. So let's say ho, ang tinest sa inyo, yung mga antibody, mga IgG, IgM na ganyan, maaari ho mag-positive yan. Pero yung PCR itself or yung presence ng virus itself, hindi po. Ito po yung isa pa. I have already had COVID-19 and recovered. Sabi niyo po kanina, meron tayo isang parang attendee na nagka-COVID-19. Do I still need to get vaccinated? Yes. It's a big yes. Kasi po, ang alam po namin, based on the recent evidence, pwede ho kayong ma-reinfect ng COVID ulit. Pwede ho. May mga cases ho na a good example po is a doctor from PGH in our country. Parang nakauwi na ho siya, na-discharge siya. Tapos after a week, nagkaroon siya uli ng COVID. So, pwede ho ma-reinfect. So, pagka okay na ho kayo or you have a clearance from your doctor, pwede ho magpa-vaccinate ulit. Mamaya i-clarify po natin yan kasi may bago hong guideline regarding yung mga COVID positive patients na 2 weeks na lang. After 2 weeks from diagnosis, pwede na ho silang i-vaccinate. Or 2 weeks from absence of symptoms, pwede na ho silang i-vaccinate. So it's a big yes. So hindi ho common nagkaroon kayo ng COVID, feeling nyo protected na kayo, hindi na kayo magpapabakuna. Hindi po. We still recommend that you get vaccinated. Ito po yung next. Will a COVID vaccination protect me from getting sick with COVID-19? Yes. It's a big yes, definitely po. And of course, kailangan po natin tandaan, wala pong vaccine na 100%. Pero ang main purpose po ng vaccination, pati po sa mga anak natin, pag dinadala po natin sila sa mga pediatrician for vaccination, ang main purpose po ng vaccine, kung kunyari po ma-infect man kayo ng COVID, hindi po kayo lalala or hindi po magpo-progress to moderate or severe. So it will protect you and it will definitely prevent yung moderate to severe infection po. Ito po yung isa sinasabi ko kanina. Will a COVID-19 vaccine alter my DNA? No. So we do understand, yung Pfizer po and yung Moderna, it has something to do with the spike protein or yung parang component po ng COVID. Hanggang dun lang po siya sa labas. Hindi po siya pumapasok sa main nucleus, parang cell or sa loob po nung cell ng pasyente. So hindi po niya ma-alter. So hindi po niyo dapat ikaabala po yan. Ipag-alala po yung issue na yan. Ito pa ho, a very common question. Is it safe for me to get COVID-19 vaccine if I would like to have a baby one day? Yes, definitely yes. Remember, it's an inactivated vaccine, hindi po sa live vaccine. So, kaya lang po medyo cautious kami about pregnant patients or breastfeeding mothers or those who are planning to get pregnant. Wala po kaming enough data for now to prove its safety. Pero ang alam po namin, based dito sa technique ng mga vaccines po na to, very safe po siya for pregnant patients. For example po, ang pasyente namin is a nurse and she is pregnant and assigned po siya sa ICU. Iwi-weigh po namin yan. Sasabihin po namin sa pasyente, discuss with your obstetrician. Pero when it comes to us, you can receive the vaccine safely. Kasi kung ang risk niya po to get COVID is very high, why will we take that risk kung pwede naman po natin siyang bakunahan? So safe po siya. Wala akong issues. At the moment, wala akong issues regarding getting pregnant or having a baby in the future. Okay. So how do vaccines work? Meron po ako i-present sa inyo dalawang parang video. It's a very simple video about how vaccines work. So hopefully po ma-appreciate niyo po siya. Can you see it po? Nakikita niyo po ba?
Okay na siya. I-play mo na lang ano.
Iko lang po.
After we've been exposed to an infection, our immune system remembers the threat, in particular by producing antibodies. These are proteins that circulate in the blood and throughout the body. They recognize fully thereby preventing or minimizing illness. Same boat. System to make antibodies without some vaccine candidates are mRNA vaccines. Blueprint for the key spike protein on the virus surface that when injected into humans instructs our own cells to make the spike protein. In turn, the body antibodies against the spike protein. This is faster than more traditional approaches, which involve generating weakened or inactivated forms of a live virus or making large amounts of the spike protein to determine one potential vaccine is discovered. A number of checkpoints exist before it can be administered to people. Clinical tests, which scientists ensure the vaccine can not only effective but also safe. For example, antibody response to an imperfect vaccine could, under extremely rare circumstances, end up increasing the danger of becoming infected. When the potential vaccine achieves the necessary preclinical results, can begin in a small group of people. It is tested on increasing numbers of people with scientific monitoring safety, efficacy, and dosing. Upon successful completion of clinical trials, candidates must be reviewed by agencies such as the FDA before manufacturing gets underway and the licensed vaccine is administered widely.
Doc, Alvin, pakishare na lang yung link sa chat box, ano, kasi medyo choppy yung audio. Anyway, we'll just review it individually. Pakishare na lang po ng link sa chat box.
Sige pa. Ito pa, may isa pa. 1 minute lang po.
Sige lang. Sige po.
How would COVID vaccines work in your body? 3 things you should know. Ready? Getting the immune system in shape. A vaccine is basically a training session for the immune system. Vaccines teach the immune system to look for the key features of a virus. So, when it does show up, it's ready to fight it off. Vaccine, meet virus. The vaccine gives your body a plan. Then your immune system starts preparing by stay in your blood as protection in case the virus. What this means is you get immunity against the disease without having to immunity. When it knows how to fight off a virus, it has nowhere to go. That's when we get a vaccine, we're able to stop the spread quicker and get a little closer to ending this pandemic. That's basically how vaccines work. And that is
So basically po, yun yung parang, ang main principle po when developing a vaccine, it goes through a lot of stages. So minsan ho, ang parang pinaka-apprehension ho natin, ang fear ho natin, kasi parang feeling natin minadali ho yung bakuna. Hindi po. So it goes through proper stages para lang huma-approve siya. So kung ang concern nyo ho is safety, very safe po siya. It's just teaching your body to recognize a certain type of infection, tapos parang nagde-develop po ng parang protection dun sa infection na yon. Para pag na-meet nyo ho yung, let's say, na-expose po kayo dun sa virus na yon, alam po ng katawan nyo paano mag-react, paano i-protect yung katawan nyo dun sa virus na yon. So in return, it keeps you safer, and kung magkaroon man po kayo ng infection, hindi ho kayo magpo-progress dun sa moderate or severe infections na nakikita po namin sa hospitals. So what are the common side effects? Kasi very common po yung tanong na to. Ang nakikita po namin clinically sa mga vaccination centers, including me and my wife and some of our family members, is yung pain po at the injection site. Pangalawa po, nakita ko namin is yung headache. Parang marami hong pasyente nagsasabi na meron silang severe headache, masakit yung mga kalamnan nila, parang hong trangkaso. So basically, para ho siyang trangkaso, yung main symptoms ho ng pagkakaroon ng COVID. At present po, ito po yung available vaccines in the UAE na ginagamit. So meron po tayong Sinopharm, Pfizer-BioNTech, and AstraZeneca. In the future po, ang pagkaalam ko, Sputnik will be available also, pero it will still have to undergo clinical trial. Yung parang phase 3 clinical trial na tinatawag, yung maramihan po. Just to give you a brief summary, ang country of origin po ng Sinopharm is China. Yan po yung ginagamit namin sa Ministry of Health. Ang Pfizer-BioNTech po is it's a German company. Ginagamit po yan ng DHA. At saka ngayon po may Sinopharm na rin po ang DHA. And AstraZeneca, which is from UK and Sweden. Yan din ang ginagamit ng DHA. So again po, regardless of the type, let's say inactivated siya, RNA siya, or DNA inside adenovirus, regardless of the type, same principle po yan. So ang main dictum po is to teach your body to recognize that infection and to train them on how to protect your body from that infection. All of them will need 2 doses at present. Meron po mga vaccine in the future na sana ho parang 1 dose, parang yung mga flu shots natin. Pero at present po, ang alam po namin is mas effective po pag 2 doses. So most of them will have a 21-day interval except po yung AstraZeneca, 28 days. So kung under DHA po kayo nagpa-vaccine, let's say sa trade center, may DHA vaccination center po doon, huwag po kayo magtataka kung sinabi sa inyo 28 days tapos yung kasamahan nyo 21 days. Kasi po, depende po sa vaccine. Meron hong number of weeks or days na kailangan nung body mo to produce a certain amount of immunity bago po namin ibibigay yung booster doses. Yun ho yung second dose. When it comes to storage, mas feasible po talaga yung Sinopharm and yung AstraZeneca, which just requires 2 to 8 degrees Celsius para lang refrigerator siya compared to Pfizer-BioNTech, which is more sensitive po. So when it comes to logistics, mukhang mas practical po yung Sinopharm and AstraZeneca. Effectivity, which is a very common question, ang alam po namin, based on the local data, ang Sinopharm po is 86% effective. Ito, ang Pfizer naman ho, 95%, ang AstraZeneca between 60 to 90%. Ngayon po, what's common between these three vaccines? Ito po, so all of them are safe. So, kunyari ho, hindi pa kayo nagpapa-vaccine, pero parang after nitong session natin, sabihin nyo na, sabi naman pala ni Doc, safe po siya talaga. So, siguro we encourage you to get that appointment and get vaccinated. So, wag na po kayo mag-alala kung na parang nag-aalinlangan kayo kung safe pa siya o hindi, parang may nadali o hindi. Most of the data tells us that the vaccines available in the UAE po are safe. Who should receive it? So based on the evidence, we know that individuals from 18 years old and above should receive it. Pwede po nilang tanggapin. Ngayon po yung 16 to 17, kasi may mga studies po na nag-include ng 16 to 17 years old, pwede rin ho nilang tanggapin. Pero usually ho sila, chine-check po namin talaga. Parang dino-double check po namin sa vaccination centers kung pwede sila or hindi. Yung mga hemodynamically stable, yung mga let's say may alta presyon, may mga sakit sa puso, pag stable po, dapat po makuha niyo yung bakuna. Kasi pag kayo po yung tinamaan nung COVID, malala po yung effect. So we do encourage patients with chronic conditions to get vaccinated. Of course po, ang priority is yung mga, alam nyo naman po yan, yung frontline and essential workers, yung mga nurses, doctors, yung mga military, police, senior citizens about 60 years old. So pag nakapunta po kayo sa mga any vaccination center, meron pong priority lane yung mga senior citizens. So 60 years old and above, meron po silang sarili nilang parang line para mas mabilis sila. And yung stable chronic diseases, yan po yung mga may hika, alta presyon, sakit sa puso, or any other chronic diseases po, or ibig sabihin matagal na po na sakit na stable po. Ito po, who should postpone it or avoid it? Based on the recent guideline, ang exclusion criteria lang po for COVID-19 vaccine, first dose is the participants of the phase 3 clinical trials. So sila po, hindi po namin sila binabakunahan kasi part po sila nung parang studies na ginawa ng government. Ngayon po ang ginagawa po sa kanila, chine-check po kung hanggang gaano katagal yung antibody present sa blood nila. As of now po, ang alam po namin, 9 months po yung protection from Sinopharm vaccine. Yun pong mga buntis at mga nagpapa-breastfeed na less than 6 months. And yung mga babae po, yung mga kababaihan po na may planong magbuntis. Again, they should postpone po. Hindi po namin sinasabi na bawal ho sila talaga. Kaya lang ho, wala ho kaming enough data to prove or yung safety po nung dun sa mga pasyente na mga buntis or nagpapa-breastfeed. Kasi po, hindi ho sila kasama dun sa parang clinical trial na ginawa. Pero when it comes to safety, safe po siya. Diyan po lalabas yung ibabalance po yung benefit at saka risk ng pagbabakuna, yung in-explain po natin kanina. People with certain condition based on evaluation of medical team. For example po, yung mga pasyente na may mga acute cancer, hindi po namin binabakunahan kasi yung resistensya po nila napakababa. So baka ho, ibig sabihin, baka ho, hindi ho sila maka-develop ng immunity for that vaccine. And people with severe allergic reaction to any component of the vaccine. So common sense po yan. Let's say may allergy po kayo sa any type of vaccine, pinopostpone na ho namin, hindi po namin sila binabakunahan. Ito naman po yung exclusion criteria for COVID-19 vaccine, second dose. For example po, nakapagpa-vaccine na kayo, tapos balik na ho kayo for second dose. Isi-screen po kayo ulit ng mga nurses namin. Tatanong ho, kamusta po yung first dose nyo? Nagkaroon po ba kayo ng parang severe allergy? Nahirapan po kayo huminga? Yung mga ganong cases po, excuse me, hindi na po namin ibinibigay yung second doses. Or for example po, after nung first dose, parang ang plano nyo mag-asawa, mag-baby na. So pinagpapaliban po siya, pinopostpone po siya. Isa po hong chine-check namin na maigi or sinescreen po namin is yung mga patients na nagkaroon po ng sobrang taas ng lagnat as a side effect nung sa first dose. For example po, nagkaroon sila ng lagnat na more than 3-4 days after nung first dose. isa-screen po namin sila. Pero it doesn't mean na hindi na makukuha yung second dose. Pagka na-screen po namin sila and alam po namin na makaka-develop sila ng immunity, we will still give the second dose to them. Basta po hindi anaphylaxis or yung parang severe allergy reaction sa kanila. Now let's go to prevention. So in medicine, meron po kaming parang ni kasabihan from Benjamin Franklin na an ounce of prevention will always be worth a pound of cure. Parang sa amin kung kaya po nating iwasan, ba't pa po natin papupuntahin dun sa part na magiging complicated po yung sakit. So ngayon na meron na tayong vaccine, vaccinate po, that's number 1. Wear your mask properly. Maaari kayo nakakita ng mga tao na nakamask pero nakasalumbaba or ginagawa pong headband or hindi namin alam kung bakit po nila ginagawa. Siguro po it's a good way of you to remind them in a respectful way to wear their mask properly. So dapat po nakatakip yung ilong at saka yung bibig ng mga pasyente. Keep your distance at least 2 meters away from other people, lalo na yung mga hindi nyo naman kakilala or from crowded areas. Regular hand hygiene, very important po kasi lalo na po sa atin hawak tayo kaliwat kanan, tapos minsan hindi nyo mapapansin, makukuskus nyo po yung ilong nyo or makakamot nyo yung mata nyo or whatever. Pwede po siya maging transmission. Although, ang main transmission po ng COVID is respiratory. Ibig sabihin, pag umubo po ako, tas nandyan po kayo malapit sa akin, may malaki pong chance na mahawa po kayo. Live a healthy lifestyle. This is very important. So, for example, siguro po ito na yung chance para i-reassess natin yung pamumuhay natin. Kumbaga, hindi tayo nag-exercise dati. It's a good way of starting a healthy lifestyle by having like regular exercise 3 to 5 times in a week, eating a balanced diet. If you want to quit smoking, which is very good kasi respiratory infection po ang COVID, so makakatulong po yan sa inyo. So ito na po yung chance para, let's say, couple po kayo, challenge nyo po yung each other to live a healthy lifestyle. Next po, seek medical consult. Seek professional consult. Huwag niyo po kayong Google ng Google or Facebook ng Facebook or social media ng social media about medical concerns. Kaya po nandyan ang mga doktor, ang mga nurses, or any other health professionals. Pinag-aralan po nila yan para ma-assist po nila kayo and mag-guide po nila kayo for kung ano po yung pinakatamang gawin. Huwag nyo pong i-google lang ng i-google. Minsan ang dami namin pasyente, nasa stress po sila kaka-google. Lalo po sila nagkakasakit. Ang dami po nilang nabasa na inappropriate naman po dun sa condition nila. And last po, I'm a firm believer po of prayers. I always tell my patients and my colleagues and my other friends na I believe prayers is number 1. For me, that's number 1. Kasi everything falls into place pag nagdadasal po. Ang dami po natin hindi ma-explain, pero pagka iniangat na po natin sa Panginoon, doon po nagkakaroon ng meaning yung mga bagay na hindi po natin ma-explain. Lastly, ito po yung mga call centers available at present. So let's say, for example, you want to call Ministry of Health, it's 800-1111. May mga kasamahan po kami dyan na sasagot. DHA po, it's 800-342. Anything about vaccination on SEHA is 800-50. And I'd like to end po my presentation with this photo. I'm sorry. So, for example po, if you take a good look at this photo, parang ang dilim-dilim na tunnel na ang gaspang-gaspang ng mga paligid, ang rough ng road. Pero sa dulo po nung tunnel, meron pong parang very bright light. So kami po in the healthcare profession, tuwang-tuwa po kami nung nagkaroon na po ng approval for yung mga vaccination. Kasi parang ito po yung light na parang bibigay po sa amin ng hope na kahit po ang tagal na po natin nagsasuffer dito sa pandemic na to, there will always be a hope or a light at the end of the tunnel. So these are just my references po. And then maybe we can go to the question and answer.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Alvin. Sa mga nag-tune in pa lang ngayon, if you want to review the presentation, it's recorded already on SocDeV UAE Cares. So mamaya, pwede nyo po i-review yung mga na-i-present niya sa SocDeV UAE Cares. Kung hindi po kayo member, mag-apply lang kayo at tatanggapin namin kayo to be a member of SocDeV UAE Cares. So ngayon, yung mga coordinators from Dubai, Northern Emirates, and Abu Dhabi, kayo na po magtanong ng mga chinat ng mga ating mga kapatid. And really, Doc Alvin, thank you very much for those tips. Nandito po kayo sa Zoom ng Couples for Christ. So Couples for Christ is a community of a prayerful community. So we really believe in that with God nothing is impossible. And of course, we'd like to share what is science. So kaya nandito po kayo. So perfect talaga yung presentation ninyo. So mga coordinators po, pakibasa na lang yung mga questions. And meron din para tayo dito mga recovered COVID, mga na-infect ng COVID, maybe later they can also share. So take it away, software coordinators.
Yes po, good afternoon po sa lahat. Question number 1, ito relate ako dito eh. Doc, ano daw po yung maximum blood pressure allowed to take the vaccine? Kasi marami po sa atin mga matataas yung BP. So, ako times na po akong bumalik, hindi po ako binigyan ng vaccine. So, ano daw po yung allowed?
Unfortunately, meron kaming tinatawag na white coat hypertension. Kumbaga, pag nakakita tayo ng mga tao na let's say, nakaputi, and parang natataranta ang mga pasyente. So very common po yan. Ang dami po naming actually pinababalik to control their blood pressure pag okay na, tsaka kasi po ang main idea po kasi hindi po kasi tested yung vaccine for patients who are not hemodynamically stable. Ibig sabihin ho, hindi ho namin alam kung ano mangyayari sa mga pasyente pag sobrang taas ng BP nila pag nabakunahan. Yan po yung reason bakit sinasabi po sa inyo, balik po kayo pag okay na ang BP nyo. Ngayon po, like what Sir Art said, prayers are very important kasi nga ho, it has something to do with yung stress pag nakita niyo yung mga doktor or nandiyan na yung BP machine, tumataas ang BP. We believe po yung prayers and yung controlling niyo po yung, lalo na kung hindi naman ho kayo high blood, control niyo lang po yung sarili niyo, yung thoughts niyo, emotions niyo, and then eventually yung BP niyo bababa po yan. Ngayon, kung talaga pong high blood kayo, ang isang recommendation na ginagawa po namin, dalihin niyo po yung medicine niyo for blood pressure. 30 minutes before you check in doon sa vaccination center, inumin niyo po yung gamot. Kasi within yung first few hours nung pag-inom ng gamot, doon po usually nagsa-start bumaba yung BP. So ibibigay po yan sa inyo basta na-control. So wag po sasama yung loob niyo pag hindi po naibigay. Sumusunod lang po yung mga nurses namin or yung mga staff namin doon sa guideline. So honestly, kung pwede nga lang ho, bibigay namin lahat but hindi. Pero iniisip din po namin yung safety ng mga patients. So, kunyari ho, nasabihan kayo, napabalik na lang, huwag po sasamahin loob nyo. Ako na yung humingi ng pasensya para ho sa kanila.
Thank you, Doc. May isa pang tanong. Any local data of confirmed reported death caused by the vaccine?
Local data, wala pa po. And hopefully ho, wala. Hopefully ho, wala. So locally ho, wala. I understand po the dilemma kasi in Norway, merong around almost 30 elderly patients na nag-pass away a few weeks when they administered yung Pfizer vaccine. So at present po, there's not enough evidence to really pinpoint na yung Pfizer vaccine talaga ang cause anong demise ng mga pasyente. Same po with the dengue vaccine in the Philippines. Parang na-sensationalize lang ho. Pero when it comes to evidence or yung, kasi po we're on the era of evidence-based kailangan po makita namin na may data ho yan. So hindi naman ho enough yung evidence to pinpoint na palpak talaga yung dengue vaccine. Same po yung So local data wala ho and hopefully ho wala. Pagdasal niyo po na wala po.
Thank you, Doctor. Follow-up question. Any data on clinical trials done on senior citizen daw po?
Senior citizens at present po kasi ang phase 3 clinical trials are done on patients 18 years old and above until 65 years old. Yan po ang alam namin. Pero kasi nga ho, yung safety profile po niya is good naman. That's why 18 years old and above, and more than 60 years old, nire-recommend po talaga namin na mabakunahan po sila.
Doc, meron po ditong question which was also emailed previously. Ito po yung tanong. I took my first dose January 9, 2021 and got COVID January 23, 2021. Fitness tested completed after 2 negative results last February 3 and February 5. Our doctor in medical center gave me go signal to take the second dose. I called SEHA and inquired. They advised me to meet SEHA medical team and discuss, and they will schedule for second dose. I actually missed my second dose schedule at January 31 due to COVID. My question is, when is the right time for me to take my second dose?
Okay pa. So very good question po yan. Kasi gaya ko nung sabi ni Sir Art kanina, meron po tayong parang audience yata who was a survivor of COVID. Based on the recent guideline po na binigay sa amin, let's say na-diagnose kayo with COVID. For example po ako, nag-test akong positive for COVID ngayon. Pero wala po akong symptoms. After 2 weeks without symptoms, I can safely get the vaccine. For example po, yung friend nyo or yung sino man po yung nagtanong, 2 weeks, let's say may symptoms po siya. Pero yung day po na nawala yung symptoms niya, doon po siya mag-count. 2 weeks from the absence of symptoms, pwede na po siya magpa-vaccine. Safe po yan. Wala akong problema. There's no issue.
Pero, Doc, yung second dose na po yung iti-take niya?
Apa. No need to repeat. Pareho yun ng mga bakuna. I don't know if some of you took the hepatitis B vaccine. Usually ho yan, 0, 1, and 6 months. Minsan kahit malate siya or months or ilang buwan pa malate, hindi na ho namin inuulit yung first dose. Kasi yung body nyo ho already developed some type of immunity or antibodies to that vaccine. Kailangan na lang po i-boost siya with the second dose.
Thank you po, Doc.
Doc, another question po. Is the vaccine safe for those who have chronic kidney disease?
Yes po. Apo. Specifically, those patients who are stable, chronic disease patients who are stable, at saka wala pong iniinom na immunosuppressant na mga gamot. Kunyari po, hindi po siya naka-prednisone or steroid. Hindi po siya naka-imuran. Or yung mga gamot po na parang ibaba pa po yung resistensya nyo, pwede nyo hong kunin yung bakuna. Pero in the future ho, kasi when it comes to safety, gaya po nga nung sinasabi namin, most probably po in the future when we have enough data, alam po natin safe dun sa mga type of patients na yun eh. Pero at present, kung stable po siya, kahit may chronic disease siya, i-assess po yan ng doktor. Pagka bibigyan po yan ng bakuna.
A follow-up question po niya is it true po ba na much better na mag-swab test 1 or 2 days before ng vaccine?
Wala pong guideline. Wala pong recent guideline to do the swab test prior to vaccination. Kung makikita nyo ho, gaya ho nung sabi ni Sir Art kanina, almost 5 million ang nabakunahan. More than 80% po nun or 75% po nun, wala hong swab test. Bakit po safe? Kasi po, like I said, kahit po may COVID kayo or let's say may sakit kayo, inactive po yung vaccine na ibibigay po sa inyo. So it will not really cause any illness or any issues dun sa pasyente po na bibigyan po ng bakuna. So right now, walang recommendation to get the swab. Pero kung meron kayong means at libre, bakit po hindi?
Okay, thank you.
Another question, Doc. Ilang months po ba ang validity ng vaccine? Dapat po ba same vaccine pa rin ang ituturo kung ma-expire na yung vaccine?
Ang ganda po ng tanong na yan. Gaya po nung sabi natin kanina sa presentation, at present po, ang alam po namin for Sinopharm, which does the local phase 3 clinical trial here in UAE, meron na pong 9 months validity yung mga pasyente na binakunahan nila dati. Kasi po ang ginagawa ko namin, meron tinatawag na parang randomized controlled trial or double blind control trial. May mga pasyente ho na alam nila na may bakuna sila, may mga pasyente na hindi nila alam na, alam nila, pareho nilang alam na meron, pero hindi nila alam kung sino doon yung totoong vaccine, sino yung placebo na tinatawag. So fina-follow up po yan ng government. Right now po, ang alam po namin, 9 months ang validity. Pero ang expected po namin na validity nung, let's say, Pfizer or any other vaccine is at least 1 year. Yun po ang expected namin. Tapos ideally po, same vaccine. Same vaccine po ang ibibigay sa kanya.
Thank you, Doctor.
Ito po, next question. Can we expect to be back to normal life assuming herd immunity is achieved?
Sana po.
No face mask, no social distancing. If yes, when possibly?
Yun po ang isa po ang magandang tanong yan. Based on the experts po, ang sabi po nila, it will take minimum of 2 to 3 years bago po tayo makabalik sa dati. Kasi hindi lang po, ang kalaban po natin dito, let's say we got the herd immunity in UAE. For example po, half this year, naka 70% po tayo ng population na vaccinate. So we're expecting herd immunity. Ang kalaban po natin yung psychological trauma na dinanas po ng lahat. Hindi ho ganun kadali na parang tatanggalin na ho agad or i-accept. Parang nung nagkaroon ng parang flu pandemic, yung Spanish flu. So ang tagal po ng inabot, ilang years bago matanggal dun sa mga tao. So sabi ho ng mga experts, a minimum of 2 to 3 years bago tayo makabalik sa normal yung normal na wala ng mask or whatever. Yun po ang sabi nila.
Doc, there's a question here. If in between the first and second dose of vaccine ay nagka-COVID-19, should they take the second dose?
Pwede ho. Basta ho, kunyari, let's say ho, nagpa-vaccine kayo ngayon. Kasi ho, ang dilemma namin, yung mga nabakunahan ng isang dose, minsan ho, dahil nabakunahan sila, nagpapabaya ho sila. Parang feeling nila nabakunahan ako. Minsan ho, nagiging lax po yung guard nila. Let's say, hindi ho sila nagmamask or nagparty na sila. Pwede pa rin ho sila magkasakit. Let's say, nagkasakit po sila after a week. At asymptomatic po sila, from the date of diagnosis, 2 weeks from date of diagnosis, pwede na ho ibigay yung second dose. Pag meron naman hong symptom, 2 weeks from disappearance of the symptoms, pwede na ho ibigay yung second dose. Pwede po. Pwede po.
Pwede pa yung sorry. Sige.
Follow-up lang po doon. But after getting the second dose, is it still possible to get the positive with COVID-19?
Pwede po. You have to remember po, wala hong vaccine na 100%. A good example, nung duty po ako last Thursday, meron po akong pasyente na bata na meron ho siyang maraming rashes sa katawan. Sobrang dami, buong katawan. So, nung in-interview ko po yung pasyente, yung mommy, sabi niya, yun nga daw, sobrang kate, tas buong katawan, yung meron siya. So, nung nag-follow up question po kami, ang tinanong ko po dun sa mommy, meron po bang ibang tao sa bahay na merong similar symptoms? Ang sabi po nila meron. Kasi sabi ko po dun sa mommy, para po siyang bulutong, pero atypical presentation. So, ibig sabihin, mukha ho siyang bulutong. Pero dahil may vaccine po yung bata nung maliit, hindi po full-blown yung bulutong niya na parang talagang yung mga bilog-bilog na typical patients na walang bakuna. So yun po ang beauty ng vaccine. Pwede ho kayong maprotektahan and at the same time, it can prevent yung moderate to severe infection po. So pwede ho siya magkasakit. Kaya ho dapat yung precautionary measures gagawin pa rin po nila.
Meron po tayo dito mga na COVID, na-infect ng COVID pero nag-recover. So maybe one or two brother or sister can share so that you can share to everyone. So just unmute yourself. Sino gusto mag-share?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Rino. At ako yung binanggit kanina sa question na na-COVID last January 23. And I got my first job January 9. So ang na-experience ko, 2 days before lumabas yung aking PCR result na positive, meron na akong fever on and off. At paglabas ng result January 23 positive. So it continues for 4 days. Ang fever ko maximum is 39.4. Through Panadol dahil wala namang gamot ang COVID-19 pero may gamot ang fever. So naibaba ko ito ng 38.7 to 37 to 36. But for the 4 days ko is continuous round the clock na meron akong fever at around 38.7. At meron ding mild cough, so tuloy lang yung aking cough syrup. At meron ding antihistamine, baka yung colds ko ay galing sa allergy. So after that 4 days, after detection of COVID positive, nawala yung aking na-experience yung first 24 hours na walang fever at the same time walang headache. Pero during the time na may fever, naroon ng headache. Hindi nawala yung aking panlasa at pangamoy, but I lose the appetite. So it will take me 1 hour to complete 1 meal, dahil sa wala akong gana. But I need to eat para lumakas ako. And there are a lot of vitamins supplied by our medical center. Panariyan na yung mga complete A to Z, D3, vitamin C, at saka zinc. Yan ang mga sinupply sa amin. And then I am counting second day na walang fever, walang headache, third day, fourth day. Hanggang tinawagan ako ng medical center on the 10th day for my first PCR, it is negative. Then another 2 days for my second PCR. So after double negative, inasa ko na mag-report na sa medical center for fitness test. At pumasa man ako sa fit to work, in-advise ako ng doktor ko na proceed for second job. No? So, but I still, hindi pa ako nakabawi sa aking lakas. Actually, I lost a lot of weight at parang akong malnourished tignan. When I'm in nude mood, nakikita ko yung buto ko sa chest ko, sa hips ko, left and right, nakita ko rin yung mga bones ko. Where before, I'm in a good shape. So, still, in a recovery period, and because I'm crossing the border to work in Abu Dhabi, so I have already done 4 negative tests so far. And the latest was yesterday. I got my PCR result from Al Garhoud Private Hospital. So I can come to work again tomorrow and continuously. But still recovering. At even though wala nang gamot, I still experience na pinapawisin ako sa umaga, feeling na parang lumalaban pa ang katawan ko sa virus. But already having the 4 negative PCR results. So it was very difficult. I consider it a second life. And as you said, prayer is always there. Yan lang po.
Thank you for that sharing. Thank you for the sharing. Doc, you want to add any explanation?
First of all, Sir Rino, we'd like to congratulate you po for surviving yung COVID. Gaya po ng, at saka hindi po kayo mukhang malnourished, huwag niyo isipin yun. Nasa isip niyo lang po yan. Okay, gwapo pa rin po kayo. So, God is good po, God is good. Talaga naman hong pagagalingin kayo. So, yan po ang dilemma namin with COVID-19 patients. Kahit po negative na, yung bugbog ng virus sa katawan nila, it takes a couple of weeks, sometimes months po to completely recover from the illness. So, again po, it has something to do with prayers, having a good like a strong faith in God. Kasi siya lang po talaga may hawak niyan siguro kami sa medicine, we're just instruments na ginagamit po niya. Pero at the end of the day, pasyente pa rin ang may control sa katawan niya. So it really depends on you po kung paano nyo talaga i-handle yung COVID illness. So which is very, very important. So congratulations, Sir Rino.
Thank you,
salamat po.
Hello.
Hello,
Doc.
Sorry.
Meron
Wait,
pong dalawang PM
wait,
question, kung okay pa po.
Doc, can you extend your time?
Apa,
Ilang
sige
minutes po
po.
kung pwede
Sige
ma-extend
po,
yung
sige
time
po.
ninyo.
Apa.
Sige. Okay, thank you,
Doc,
Toy,
can I have
again.
a question?
Apa.
Sige po, sige, go, Sislin.
Doc, actually, I was confined for 12 days in DIC. I was positive last January 12, and the diagnosis was COVID pneumonia, and I was in oxygen for the 12 days. But after my second test, I was positive, but they released me. They discharged me even I was positive because they said my vitals were normal
Apa.
and I'm recovering. So apparently my bed is needed by another more severe patient. So I isolated another 8 days so that I can have my third swab, and I was still positive. So again, I waited for another 10 days and got my fourth swab test, and I'm still positive.
Apa.
So I'm still positive now, but my company allowed me to work because I am normal. I feel normal. I still have yung madali lang akong mahapo, but I don't have any more symptoms. So asthmatic din po kasi ako. So siguro dahil isa yun sa nahihirapan akong huminga. I really have like pag yung konting galaw ko lang, just going to the bathroom, or yung pag medyo matagal ang magsalita.
Para
Ang after effect nung ataka lang po ako. Positive din po ako. Is it up to
Ma'am, napuputol po yung question. Ano po yung question niyo, ma'am? Chat nyo na lang, ma'am. Basahin ko po.
Sislin, paki-ano na lang, naputol yata siya. Anyway, tuloy ninyo, mga coordinators, yung questions. We'll just get the question and I'll forward to you, Doc Alvin.
Sige po.
Meron pong two PMs dito, Doc. First po, pwede daw pong mag-inquire any news updates on vaccination of those who are on visit visa.
Maganda kong tanong yan. Kasi at present po, hindi po sila kasama sa program ng government. Ang number one priority po is to vaccinate yung population or residents of the UAE. I'm not really sure po sa private kung they offer. Pero ang alam ko ho, ang number one priority, ang number one requirement is UAE ID. So without the UAE ID, I don't think mapibigyan sila ng bakuna. So I'm really, really sorry. Try ko po i-clarify yan.
Thank you po, Doc. Another question po. We were about to get a vaccine, but the doctor did not recommend us to get it because we were infected with COVID-19, hospitalized, and used oxygen while in the hospital. Then I consult my nephrology, and the doctor advised me to check antibodies and found high at 179. Do I need to get a vaccine or no need because of my high COVID test is high?
So at present po, yung mga moderate to severely infected COVID patients, ang alam po kasi namin, the more na malala kang magkasakit or yung presentation mo clinically, mas madami kang napuproduce na antibody. So yung mga moderate to severely infected patients, ang alam po namin, minimum 3 months meron ho silang protection. Pero after 3 months, we do suggest na magpabakuna na po sila.
Thank you po, Doc.
Doc, meron pa pong isang question dito. It's a follow-up yung about sa chronic diseases. A person with combined allergies and medicine with some of the antibiotics or other medicines, is it safe with MOH allowed? Is it safe or will MOH allow him? Tapos meron din yung autoimmune disease. parang parehas na question. If they are allowed to get the vaccine.
Allergy po to, let's say allergy po to any medication or antibiotic, pwede ho yan, binabakunahan po namin yan. Unless meron po siyang allergy dun sa component ng vaccine, yun po hindi ho namin binibigay. Lalo na kung anaphylactic or ibig sabihin, nahirapan po siyang huminga, yan ho hindi namin bibigay. Now, yung regarding sa autoimmune disease, basta ho stable yung autoimmune disease niya, and currently, within the last 3 months, wala ko siyang iniinom na gamot that would suppress yung immunity niya, mabibigyan po siya ng bakuna. Ang issue.
What do you personally recommend in terms of the preference as vaccine and why? Di ba na-discuss niyo po yung mga vaccines kanina? Ano daw po yung personally you can recommend?
Personally, patay ako pag nag-recommend ako personally, di ba? Baka tanggalin ako ng government. Honestly ho, when it comes, kami kasi naman po evidence-based eh. Honestly ho, at first, kahit po kami sa healthcare profession, honestly ho, meron kaming dilema nung una eh. Parang nalilito kami, ano bang kukunin kong vaccine, ito po, personal experience. At first po, gusto ko yung Pfizer. Kasi po, ba't po ako pipili ng bakuna? Let's say, ito po, 95% eh. So common sense would dictate, mas gusto ko tong Pfizer kesa sa Sinopharm, which is just 86%. So kung kunyari ho, when it comes to efficacy, nung una ho, initially, gusto ko yung Pfizer kunin. Pero mabait ho talaga ang Diyos eh. I tried to get po yung Pfizer na vaccine. So nung tinatry ko po kumuha ng appointment sa DHU, pag ini-input ko po yung UAID ko, ibang number ho yung lumalabas, hindi ho yung mobile number ko. So sabi ko na lang, nakailang try po ako niyan, siguro mga ilang weeks. So eventually, nag-mandate po ang ministry, sabi, all staff should be vaccinated or magpapa-PCR kayo and you will have to pay for the PCR test. Doon po ako sa gastos, ayoko pong gumastos. So sabi ko, sige na nga, magpapabakbo na lang ako. So sabi ko nga ako kay Min, God is good. Talagang minsan yung gusto mo, pag hindi niya plano, hindi talaga mangyayari. So, I went for Sinopharm, which is the old way, the traditional way. So, sabi ko po sa wife ko, kay Commander, sabi ko ako muna. Pag okay, magpabakuna na kayo. So, awa po ng Diyos, okay naman. Tapos, di ba ngayon po, nagkaroon ng mga variants. So, nung in-explain ko sa wife ko, arami ho, let's say yung Astra, which is like for example, a new vaccine na lalabas din na available sa DHA. Hindi po siya, clinically ho, on the recent data, hindi po siya ganun ka-effective sa South African variant. So, nung tinitingnan ko ho yung benefits sa way, personal po to I have nothing against yung mga vaccines na available. Parang lumalabas pa ho, na mas okay pa yung traditional way of developing the vaccine, which is the inactivated, which is the whole part of the virus, compared to dun sa ibang vaccine na nagko-concentrate lang sila dun sa spike protein. Kasi yun po yung namomodify eh. Yun po yung nag-iiba yung itsura eh. So, kaya nga ho sabi ko, prayers talaga. Magdasal ho kayo kung ano yung vaccine na para sa inyo. At I'm sure yun po yung ibibigay sa inyo ng Diyos. Pero efficacy, safety-wise, all are safe. All are safe.
Doc, another question related dun sa variant. Pag nakapagpa-vaccine na ba tapos may bagong variant tulad ng Amazon variant, kailangan ba ulit magpa-vaccine para sa Amazon variant vaccine?
Maganda hong tanong yan. Para hong flu vaccine. So ang ginagawa ho ng mga, kasi ang virus ho talaga, may natural tendency ho siya to mutate lalo na pag matagal na. Para hong tayo, nag-a-adapt. Same po ng mga flu. Every year, ang ginagawa po ng mga experts, parang pinag-aaralan po nila yung pakita nila na magiging problematic variant ng flu. Yun po yung gagawa nila ng vaccine. So, at present po, wala hong specific vaccine for let's say UK variant or let's say South African variant or let's say yung mga variant sa Brazil, wala pa ho. Pero at least, let's say makuha nyo yung bakuna for specific COVID na meron tayo ngayon, meron na kayong protection for that COVID infection. So, huwag nyo na isipin yung variant kasi makakomplicate po kayo. At the end of the day, pareho po yung way of prevention niya. Yung pagmamask, keeping the distance, washing your hands, pareho po siya ng transmission.
Bale, mga 2 to 3 more questions. Tapos yung may mga tanong pa, can you just message privately yung mga SocDeV coordinator from your area, then they will send it to Doc Alvin, then whatever reply, ibabalik sa inyo. Kasi I'm sure ang daming tanong pa, but we'll just 3 more. So per area, you can ask 1 question, 1 or a follow-up question, then we will close.
Sir, if it's okay, I'll go back with Ma'am Rumelin's question. Asan po ba siya?
Dito. Allowed ba siya mag-work kung positive pa siya?
Kasi meron ng bagong guideline regarding de-isolation. Meron po kaming sinasabi na parang symptom-based or test-based strategy. For example, yung ginawa kay Ma'am Rumelin, mukhang symptom-based strategy po yun eh. Ang alam po namin, after 10 days, without symptoms, hindi na po kayo infectious. So tama po yung ginawa sa kanya na dinischarge na siya, tsaka pinayagan na po siya magtrabaho. Meron ho talaga mga pasyente, nagkakaroon ho sila ng parang remnant ng virus. So kakatest sa kanila, positive ng positive. Minsan ho, nag-a-add ng psychological tsaka emotional stress po yan sa mga pasyente. So tama po yung ginawa sa kanya. Most probably, ang ginamit po sa kanya is yung symptom-based strategy, which is 10 days from absence of symptoms, with a minimum of at least 3 days without fever, pwede na po yun i-discharge.
Ayan, nandyan na siya uli. Sis Lynn, narinig mo yung sagot ni Doc?
Yes po, narinig ko kahit nasa labas ako kasi meron po ako Yan nga po to. Totoo po yung Doc na it adds really emotional and psychological effect. Kasi parang kailangan mo ng closure eh. Actually, hindi po ako nakabalik dun sa sharing house namin.
Oo nga.
Dahil positive ako. So, I was forced to get my own studio flat para lang po para po may matirhan ako kasi nag-hotel ako for 8 days and it's very expensive. So, yun nga po, Doc, parang, pero dito sa work ko, mabait naman yung mga may-ari that they allowed me to work kasi nga, I explained to them na as per DHA, I'm not already contagious. Pero kailangan ko lang din talaga maging pa rin cautious on dealing with the staff. Hindi ako masyadong nakikipag-usap at lumalapit. Pero yun nga po, Doc, kasi parang sabi nung DHA, bahala ka na lang, it's upon you kung magpapatest ka na magpapatest hanggang maging negative ka. So parang expensive din po kasi siya kasi 150 ng 150 yung pagpapatest.
Kaya nga po.
So, yun nga, yung parang...
Sige po.
Yun nga yung parang tatagalan ko na lang yung period ng pagpapatest, i-build ko yung immune system ko, baka mamaya mababa pa rin or I really have to recover. Ewan ko kung anong i-recover ko pa para lang po na mag-negative ako eventually. Kasi kahit yung car lift ko, takot akong i-car lift eh. Kahit ina-explain ko sa kanya na almost 1 month na ako. Like 1 week na ako dito sa wala namang nahahawa sa work ko.
Correct po. Yun nga po, siguro po siguro on our part, ang request lang po namin, let's say sa lahat po ng participants, is to share correct knowledge about the COVID. Kumbaga kung meron po kayong natutunan on this presentation, sana po ma-share nyo with 1 or 2 na kaibigan nyo. Malaking bagay po yun kasi yung stigma po ang nilalabanan namin eh. Unfair po sa mga pasyente. Kahit po kami mga healthcare professional, may stigma eh. Minsan yung mga barkada namin, ayaw na kami makasama eh. Parang isip nila, palagi kami makaka-infect. So, the stigma, lalo na ho dun sa mga pasyente, yung emotional burden, psychological burden, yung mga pamilya natin sa Pilipinas, isipin nyo kung anong iniisip nila. So, it's high time po siguro to share yung mga evidence-based information. Alam nyo naman po yan eh. So, tama po kayo, hindi na po kayo infectious, Ma'am Romelin. So, I don't think there's a need para magpa-test pa ho kayo ulit for PCR. Sayang po yung 150 nyo, padala nyo na lang sa Pilipinas yun.
Exactly. So, thank you, Doc. Thank you for that answer.
Pwede pa pong magtanong, Tito Art.
Sige po, one per area na, one per area.
One per area pero combo question kasi dalawang tanong.
Oh, sige lang. Sige lang.
Ito po, yung kaniyang tanong. Is it necessary to have antibodies after the second jab or not required? And the second question din po from the same participant. My son is 21 years old, asthmatic, allergic to peanuts and shrimp and using Seretide. Is it safe for him to get the jab?
Okay, so yung first question ho, hindi ho namin minamandate or parang pinipilit yung mga pasyente na magpa-check na antibody after the second dose. Ngayon, based on the guideline, kung gusto niyong malaman, pwede naman ho, after second dose, give your body 2 to 3 weeks bago kayo magpa-check. Kasi yun yung time para mag-develop yung body niyo na immunity. Let's say gusto niyo lang malaman, meron ba akong antibodies? Pa-check niyo ho at least 2 to 3 weeks. Mas maganda kung 3 weeks, tsaka ho kayo magpa-check. Now, regarding po dun sa asthmatic, kahit ho ako may hika welcome to the club ho. So, pwede ho yan bakunahan. Wala hong problema. Walang issue ho dyan. It's safe for him to get the vaccine. Basta wala hong oral steroid siyang iniinom within the last 3 months. Kung yung Seretide lang, okay lang po yan.
Thank you po, Doc.
Ito naman po, you mentioned about consideration for the vaccination for 16 to 17 years old. What will make you decide to go for the vaccine for this age group?
Kami po. So kami pong, let's say, for example, isang family kayo and lahat kayo nagpabakuna na, tapos meron ho kayong anak na 17 na siya lang ho ang walang vaccine. Pwede nyo ho siyang isama. Tapos kami ho magde-decide kung eligible siya or hindi, kung kaya niya pa. Doktor po yan, i-assess po yan ng doktor sa vaccination centers.
Actually, yung sa amin po, 16 years old, nung pumunta po kami, nabigyan siya agad walang questions about dun sa...
Etihad?
Opo, sa Etihad.
Bigyan po yan.
Yeah. Follow-up question lang po, may isang sister. Yung mother daw po niya is, meron siyang tinitake, nag-first dose, may HEPA vaccine. Pwede rin ba daw siyang bigyan ng COVID vaccine?
Ang hepatitis po is not live vaccine So 2 weeks from any other vaccine na not live, pwede hong bakunahan. Pero ang suggestion po namin sa kanya, let's say third dose niya na ng Hepa B. Tapusin niya na po muna yung Hepa B bago ho siya magpa-vaccine ng COVID. Pero at minimum of 2 weeks kung hindi live vaccine, minimum of 1 month or 4 weeks pag live vaccine. Yan po yung mga sa bulutong, yung mga BCG, yung mga ganyan pa.
Doc, one last question for can I take COVID vaccine? My husband is COVID positive with mild symptom last December until now. Di pa rin nawawala ang ubo niya. And DHA advised him na after 3 months pa siya pwede magpabaksin. Contact person ako, pwede na po ba akong magpabaksin? Paano kung nagka-virus ako at asymptomatic lang pala?
Pwede na po. Pwede na. Based on the last guideline 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks from, let's say may lagnat siya or masama pa rin yung pakiramdam niya or 2 weeks from absence of symptoms, pwede na hong bakunahan. Pwede na ho sila magpabakuna. Pareho sila mag-asawa.
Okay, thank you very much. Sa lahat ng mga nag-tune in pa lang ngayon, pwede po niyo ma-review yung video recording sa SocDeV UAE Cares. Ang daming mga, I'm sure marami kayong mga tanong na masasagot na doon sa video recording. Now, if you still want to ask questions, you can write to your area coordinators and we will forward the question to Doc Alvin and we will return the answer or give you the answer from him. So El, last question ka before we close.
Yes, Sir Alvin, first of all, thank you for saying yes and for being with us. Natupad na yung pangarap kong makasama ka namin. And thank you so much for your time. Prayers is very important. That's why we love you because pareho tayong mag-isip niyan. nagtanong sa akin kasi kakabasa nga sa internet, sabi niyo kanina, wag iwasan masyado yung kaka-Google, kaka-internet. Nagpabakuna sila, tapos may nabasa sila na pagbakuna daw dapat mag-wear ng mask, face mask, kasi maaring dahil meron na raw nasa kanila na yung virus sa katawan nila, pwede nilang maipasa to sa kasama nila sa bahay. That's one. Second, marami pong gustong makaalam, ano ba yung asymptomatic? Pwede bang paka-explain to? Kasi merong umuubo, walang lagnat, ubo lang ng ubo, tapos medyo fatigue, nakakaramdam ng fatigue, walang lagnat, may panlasa pa naman, and etc. So, pasok ba yan dyan? At ikatlo, ano po ba yung mga supplement na pwede nyong i-suggest sa ating mga kasama ngayon? Kumain ba ng maraming vitamin C, oranges, pineapple, or any suggestions that you can add? That's all. Thank you po. So, tatlong tanong.
First question po, remember po, the vaccine ho na ibibigay sa inyo is not a live vaccine. So gaya ho nung kasama ho sa myths and facts yan, hindi ho sila makaka-infect. Let's say mabakunaan sila. Pero kailangan ho nilang mag-mask at saka kailangan ho nilang mag-hygiene, keep safe distance. Pero regarding the vaccine per se, hindi ho sila makaka-infect kasi it will not cause the infection sa pasyente na mababakunahan. So that's question number 1. Question number 2, yung symptomatic po at saka asymptomatic. For example po, nagkaroon ako ng COVID or trangkaso. Fever is a type of symptom. Coughing is a type of symptom. Body pain is a type of symptom. So lahat po ng nararamdaman ng pasyente is called symptom. Sila po yung mga symptomatic. No, asymptomatic po when it comes to medical terms, kasi po yung A, ang ibig sabihin po ng absence eh. So asymptomatic means wala akong simptomas. So ito po yung mga challenging na para sa amin. Kasi sila po yung na hindi naman parang super spreader, pero sila po yung maaaring maka-infect na hindi nila alam na nakaka-infect po sila. So basically yun po yung difference ng symptomatic tsaka asymptomatic. Yung supplements, ideally po, gaya po nung presentation natin kanina, sabi nga po namin, ito na po yung best opportunity for us to live a healthy lifestyle. For example po, ang evidence po kasi is to have a healthy and balanced diet. For example po, ito yung plato nyo. So usually we tell the patients to divide the plate into 4 parts. One part po will be protein kasi kailangan nyo ng protein eh. One part po would be carbohydrates kasi kailangan nyo ng energy. Tapos one part po would be vegetables kasi may mga vitamins yan and fibers. One part po would be fruits which are rich in vitamin C and all other fibers also. And a good source of calcium. So, kunyari po, kaya nyo i-maintain yun every day. Having a healthy and balanced diet, hindi yun ako kailangan ng supplement. Yun ho yung challenge. Kasi tayo pong mga Filipino, hindi po tayo kumakain ng healthy food. So, puro po tayo mga oily food, puro mga pulutan, kung ano-ano. So, kung pwede kayo mag-supplement, take a vitamins na preferably with zinc. Kasi yung zinc will protect respiratory airways nyo. And vitamin C. So, hindi nyo naman kailangan mag-take ng 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Masama rin po yan, lalo na kung hindi nyo may lalabas. So, anything that's parang sobra, masama rin po. And exercise. Kailangan nyo mag-exercise.
Thank you. Ayan sa likod ko si El. El,
ikaw, hotdog.
Huwag ka na mag-hamburger. Okay, Doc, pala, we're so happy na marami nag-join ngayon hapon as far as Al Ain, Abu Dhabi, and Northern Emirates. So buong buong UAE ang nakikinig sa iyo. Tapos ito nga, naka-record po to sa Facebook page ng SocDeV UAE Cares, which has 3,200 members. So magandang information to. Really, thank you very much. Meron po lang kami pa-flash sa screen. Brother Mike, share. Basta yung may mga tanong, mag-PM na lang po kaya sa mga coordinators po nito. Mike, ikaw na lang magbasa.
Okay. So, Doctor, a certificate of appreciation is hereby given to Dr. Alvin Gabriel Torres for imparting valuable information and insights as guest speaker for the Hilog Vaccine Goodbye COVID-19 session with CFC UAE, signed and given on 13 February 2021, Dubai, UAE. Signed by Tito Art Los Baños, CFC SocDeV Coordinator, UAE.
So,
Thank you po, Doctor.
I-PM ko na lang po sa inyo, parang movie Hello Vaccine, Goodbye COVID-19. So, magpa-picture po tayo before and then we have a closing prayer. Pa-picture po tayo. Paki-on na po ng mga video ninyo. Tatlong frames tayo because we are more than 58. And thank you really for participating. Paki-picture na lang po. Pakitulong rin kung sino pwede mag-picture.